Hey guys, I'm back with another episode from the archives. So I'm going back to my food log from 2023, and I thought I would just start on January 1st because it is a Sunday, except I guess I'm typically starting on Mondays, but it doesn't matter. January 1st, 2023, it was a Sunday. 9 a.m., coffee with half and half, bacon, a fried egg, biscuits, strawberries, and yogurt made by Liz. 12 p.m. Dietsch's malted milk balls. 5 p.m. Beef nachos with queso, soft pretzel with horseradish mustard, and a Wheatwater beer from Big Pillow Brewing in Hot Springs, North Carolina. 7 p.m. Half a can of Burial Rust Vienna style lager. Okay, so I'm living in North Carolina at this point and I'm unemployed. It seems that I always seem to be eating my best when I don't have a job, eating the most extravagantly, and I don't know why that is. Maybe it's trying to avoid a scarcity mindset so that I can manifest a job. Anyway, I did end up getting a job, so maybe it worked. But so we're in Hot Springs, North Carolina. It's New Year's Day. For the last well, I guess we didn't go last year because of the Hurricane Helene that came through and sort of destroyed Hot Springs. But the 3 previous New Year's before that, we would go to our friend's house in Hot Springs. And it's an old house overlooking the French Broad River. It's beautiful. It overlooks a llama farm, and it's up a way, so it wasn't hurt by the flood at all. And an old man named Cotton lived in the house, and he sold it to these friends. They go there for New Year's and whatnot. Anyway, we had breakfast at their house that morning, and this was also right after Christmas, so I brought Dietsch's chocolate malted milk balls, which is something that I get every Christmas. So my dad worked at Dietz's growing up in Ohio. It's an ice cream shop. It's a family-run ice cream shop that is still around. They also do chocolates. They do cream-filled chocolates that are wonderful. They do Buckeyes. They do all kinds of candy. And then they also have more sugar-based candy that they clearly outsource production. You know, they're wholesaling it in and selling it in their own packaging. But they do make a lot of their chocolates in-house and their ice cream. So they have a couple locations around Findlay, Ohio, the Dayton area. And my dad, every Christmas, drops cash and buys their chocolate pretzels and their malted milk balls and whatever he can get his hands on. And we always get a stocking filled with Dietz's products. And it's really great, but it's too much. So I like to offload it onto other people. So I brought Dietz's malted milk balls to this gathering, and they're okay. I don't know if they make them in house. They seem like a product that they buy, so I wasn't too concerned about giving them away. Their chocolate pretzels are really great. They have dark milk and white, and they're nice and salty. And I would highly recommend them. Support a family business. But don't support them too much because I don't want their inventory to be out of stock. Okay, so Big Pillow Brewing in Hot Springs. I think they're back up and running since the hurricane. Their beer is fine, but they do have really good Tex-Mex style food. And usually they are completely sold out on New Year's because they have a big New Year's Eve party, and then New Year's Day. Typically when we try and eat there, they have like 2 menu items left. They can't really make anything. So the soft pretzel was good, actually. I remember that being really good. And, the beer culture in Western North Carolina is pretty active. So there's this bottle shop that has a lot of different, they just have a ton of variety. So stopped by a bottle shop, got this Burial Rust Vienna style lager. And then I noticed as we were going through that there are a lot of beers that I don't remember and I've never heard of before. And I'm realizing we got them at this bottle shop in Western Nashville. I forget what it's called, but we went in there and it was just a guy DJing behind the counter. And he also checked us out when we bought our beer. I don't know if that's a normal thing. It was kind of strange. January 2nd, 2023. It's a Monday. 10 a.m. Fried green tomato Benedict with gravy, bacon, salad, and roast potatoes, and coffee with half and half at Sunny Point Cafe in Asheville, North Carolina. 3 p.m. Meatballs Parmesan, onion rings with ranch, and pickles at Marvinhoe in Mebane, North Carolina. 6 p.m. Cheez-Its, Deese's milk chocolate and white chocolate pretzels, and half a can of Fontaflora Dandy Pale. Drove back to our neck of North Carolina this day, and Sunny Point Cafe was worth a trip. You did have to wait. We got there super early, and there's a line to get in, but the fried green tomato Benedict was great. I would highly recommend having breakfast here. It's somewhere middle of the road, but the quality is good, and it seems to be an established joint that's been around. I don't think I would recommend Marvinhoe in Mebane, North Carolina. I have no idea why we stopped here. If I'm remembering correctly, nothing was open. It was in rural North Carolina, things are not open on Mondays. So it was really tough to find something that was not fast food. Marvinhoe was open, and it was full of older locals, and the food was pretty bad. It was wood paneling on the inside, and the bread on the meatball parmesan was super soggy and soft, even though we were eating it right then and there. And I don't know. It was a strange place. It kind of reminded me of a place you would go to in the Northeast that had like submarine sandwiches. But anyway, I guess I ate chocolate pretzels for dinner and a can of Fontaflora Dandy Pale. Don't remember if that was good or not. January 3rd, 2023. It's a Tuesday. 9 a.m. Collectivo coffee with half and half made at home. 1 p.m. Ramen with chili crisp and Korean spicy Sunchips. 6 p.m. Pork bourguignon. I'm butchering the pronunciation of that. And a bottle of Zilicola American-style rye wine with Brettanomyces, Brett yeast, and Deese's chocolate pretzels. Okay, yeah, I remember going. So when we went to that bottle shop in Asheville, I was specifically looking for beer with Brett yeast. I just love that Brett yeast flavor. And it's so hard to find, especially where I am. I don't know why. The only bottle shop near me that I know of in Durham, I think it's called Sam's. They moved and then they closed. So I could look and see if there's a bottle shop in somewhere else, but yeah, it's tough. Where am I thinking of? There's a place in Hillsborough called the Wooden Nickel, and every month or so they have a rotating brewery on tap. And I went there. I've been there a few times. I like it just because it sort of reminds me of something you'd go to on vacation. They have like fried bar food. They have like good bar food, and they use a lot of local farm produce, and they have a lot of specials. There's usually different kinds of fried local farm vegetables. And the one time that I went there, the first time that I went there, they had a Florida brewery on tap. I don't remember what brewery it was, but I got a Brett yeast beer from them, and it was divine. I can never find Brett yeast. So when we went to this bottle shop in Western Asheville, I asked the DJ for a beer with Brett yeast, and he pointed me to this American style rye wine, apparently. And I don't remember it, but I think I was a little disappointed. It wasn't exactly what I want. I don't want a rye wine, I think. But yeah, super hard to find Brett yeast. Even when I worked in Chicago at a 40 tap beer focused restaurant, we rarely had a Brett yeasted beer on tap, but that's where I was exposed to it for the first time and realized that was the flavor for me. Korean spicy Sunchips. Okay, there's something about Korean chips and Korean savory snacks where I think they have too much sugar added, and it's a specific sweet taste. It's sort of tomatoey or syrupy. They must use a specific product to sweeten their chips. But I find that their snack food is generally too sweet. And Colectivo coffee, I think I ordered this. I think they're based in Wisconsin and Milwaukee. Anyway, I would drink them a lot in Chicago. They would always have coffee shops there. I never ordered from them again. I ordered like a medium dark roast from them, and it tasted burnt gas station coffee. And I emailed them to complain. I never complain about stuff, but this was so ridiculous. I was like, I bought a 5-pound bag of this for like $100. This is ridiculous. And they told me that I just probably didn't like their coffee. And I was like, you don't understand. I have had your coffee many times and it's never tasted like this. I think they ended up sending me another bag of something that was slightly better. I don't remember what happened, but never ordered from them again. I'm sure they're fine. Maybe I did just order the wrong flavor for me, wrong roast, but I don't know. January 4th, 2023 was a Wednesday. 9 a.m. Colectivo coffee with half and half made at home. 12 p.m. Salt and pepper red wheat focaccia made at home. 3 p.m. Leftover pork bourguignon. 5 p.m. a clementine. 7 p.m. white chocolate Dietz's pretzels. Wow, I'm not really eating a lot of dinner. Struggling through this bag of Colectivo coffee. I was baking a lot during this time because I was unemployed. Red wheat focaccia. Where was I ordering my wheat from? There is a couple in Wisconsin that grows wheat, Meadowlark. They grow really good wheat and bean products. They took over for an older man who had family farm, and he wanted to pass it on to somebody, and they sort of took over the business. And they have really good wheat. They have really good wheat and bean products. I would highly recommend them. So I was buying a lot of their wheat and making bread. And they had a red wheat, apparently. We also have a local flour producer. Red Tail Grains is our local producer. They sell to Bolted Bread and whatnot. But they don't really have that high protein bread flour that I was looking for, that Meadowlark has. They have a really good high protein bread flour. I think it's called Snowbird. Really good. And it's winter, so I'm eating citrus fruits. That's really the only time of the year that I buy citrus fruits. I generally do not like citrus fruits, eating them, like oranges, clementines. I don't like eating pith. I do love a grapefruit though. But this is the time of year where I will buy eating fruits like that. Okay, January 5th, 2023, it's a Thursday. Collectivo coffee with half and half, and a sunny egg over stewed black-eyed peas and hash browns made by Brian. 1 p.m. cold brew with half and half at Cup of Joe in Hillsboro. 4 p.m. a slice of pepperoni pizza from Whole Foods. 7 p.m. angel hair bolognese made by Brian. Okay, so it looks like we're both unemployed at this point. Well, actually, no. Brian was working, but it's winter, so he's not, he's working on a farm, so he has time off. But yeah, I had just been working on a farm, doing some freelance work, and the farm season ended. And so I don't have a job. And I think this 1 p.m. cold brew at Cup of Joe in Hillsboro was me going on a job interview. I think I was interviewing at Yep Rock Records. It's a label connected to Red Eye. They're a big distributor of vinyl. And I worked at Numero Group in Chicago, and this was a very similar feeling. They're working out of an old house, and there was Sunday's Records downstairs transferring old reel-to-reel tapes, and I was like, oh yeah, it felt like home in a way. I had a couple interviews. The first one lasted hours. The second one was at this coffee shop, and I didn't get the job. And I kind of knew that I wouldn't. I think it would have been, compared to the work I was doing at Numero, a step down. And I think they ended up hiring somebody who would be a better fit for that. I think I already knew that, A, they weren't going to pay what I wanted, and that it would be a frustrating experience. So all for the best. And I love angel hair pasta. January 6, 2023. It's a Friday. 9 a.m. Collectivo coffee with half and half and a sunny egg over black-eyed peas and toasted focaccia made by Brian. 2 p.m. Leftover focaccia and Dietz's chocolate pretzels. 7 p.m. Cheese tortellini and spinach soup made at home. I also just realized that this is when I have a kitten in my house. November 2022, when my farm job ended at the end of November, I took in 3 8-week-old kittens from Brian's mom's cousin barn. They had a bunch of feral cats in there that kept producing kittens, and we took 3 of them. And so we were raising them, and I brought 2, there were 3 brothers, and I went in the barn to get them, and most of the cats scattered, but these 3 just sat there and were ready to be taken, so I took them. So this Christmas 2022, just before this, I brought 2 of the brothers to my parents as Christmas gifts. They knew it was coming, and they wanted them. And so they have 2 of the brothers, and then I have the 3rd brother. His name is Gray Daddy. He was named after a Chicago friend's blanket that he has, that he named all of his blankets, like Scratchy Brown and Gray Daddy. And I mean, I was just giving the cats placeholder names because I knew 2 of them weren't going to be mine. So I named the pure gray one Gray Daddy. And he also looked ancient. He looked like a stuffed taxidermy. He looked terrible. They all looked terrible. They were in rough shape. One of them had a white spot on his chest, so I named him Spot. And then one was a tabby, so I named him Toby. And I was like, we can figure out real names. But that's what their names are to this day. We never changed them. So Gray Daddy lives in my house. He's a wonderful cat. He plays fetch. He rides around on our shoulders. He is just really intelligent. I didn't have a choice but to take him. The other 2 kittens were sort of just content, but Gray Daddy immediately gravitated towards me and just wanted to be held. And I thought, I can't give you away at this point. So that's why I kept him. Okay, so cheese and cheese tortellini and spinach soup. I remember the first time I made tortellini and sausage soup in Chicago, visiting my sister, and she lived in this sort of lofty, she lived in like an old brownstone in Logan Square, and the heating didn't work, and it was always so cold, and I always visited her in February, and would make soup because we were just in this freezing house in Chicago. And I mean, I've only lived in like rentals in Chicago. I've never like been a wealthy individual with a well-insulated home in Chicago, but it's always so cold even inside in Chicago. So you got to make soup. I remember making tortellini and sausage soup with spinach at my sister's house in Logan Square, and it was just the best thing. And I loved him. I think I remember this day I didn't have sausage, but I still made the soup, and it was still good. A million different websites have recipes for it, but it's like, a 28-ounce can of tomatoes and grocery store tortellini and spinach and chicken stock, and it's good. January 7th, 2023. It's a Saturday, 8 a.m. Collectivo coffee with half and half and a scrambled egg and Korean chives sandwich. Oh, a scrambled egg and Korean chives sandwich on toasted La Farm sourdough made at home. 1 p.m. Leftover tortellini soup and bolognese. 3. Part of a Palmer's chocolate Santa. 6 p.m. Chuck roast and jus, mashed sweet potatoes, glazed carrots, and sour cream made by Brian, and a bottle of Red Oak Hells. Do love a Hell's Lager. Yeah, mashed sweet potatoes. That sounds like something Brian would make with glazed carrots, sweet on sweet. He loves sweet potatoes. I like sweet potato fries. I don't know. Something about straight up sweet potatoes. It's too sweet. Palmer's Chocolate Santa. That's that oil-based chocolate brand that I love. It just melts in your mouth like a magic shell at Dairy Queen. And Korean chives. I wonder if these were actually Korean chives or if they were Chinese chives. I mean, I don't know if there's a difference, but it seems at some point I went to an Asian grocery store and got chives and chili crisp and clementines, and there's something else that kind of gave it away that the Korean Sunchips. Yeah, so I probably went to Li Ming's, which has mostly Chinese products, but Korean and Japanese as well, and some Middle Eastern stuff as well. They always have great Asian chip flavors, like all the Chinese Lay's flavors and Korean snacks. Not some Japanese snacks, but not really. Okay, January 8th, 2023. It's a Sunday. 10 a.m. Collectivo coffee with half and half and an easy egg over toasted La Farm sourdough, black-eyed pea gravy, and sauerkraut made at home. 2 p.m. Leftover chuck roast and jus with rigatoni made at home. 6 p.m. Fried oysters, salmon, mushroom and parsley rice, broccoli, chocolate chip cookie dough ice cream, and 2 glasses of Rutenstock Gruner Veltliner. This is a mystery to me. Was I frying oysters at my house? I never make fish at home. I'm never buying fish. I'm fried oysters and salmon. I don't understand where that is coming from. Mushroom and parsley rice. I vaguely remember making that, but I mean, was I out somewhere and I forgot to write it down? I don't know. I do remember eating this at home, but I don't know. It might have been something that Brian's mom brought over, and then we made rice and broccoli to go with it. Because oftentimes she'll run down to the beach for the weekend or a day, and she'll bring back seafood for us. And usually it's frozen, but sometimes it's not. So I don't know. January 9th, 2023. It was a Monday. 8 a.m. Collectivo coffee with half and half, made at home. 10:30 a.m. A Cajun chicken biscuit and hash browns from Bojangles. 1 p.m. Mixed greens with leftover Japanese dressing and toasted La Farm sourdough with olive oil, made at home. 5 p.m. Cabbage, yuk choy, fried tofu, jalapenos, and onion and oyster chili sauce over rice, made at home. A bottle of Red Oak Hells, and Dietsch's milk chocolate pretzels. Okay, the pretzels are back. It looks like I took a break. Maybe I was getting sick. And yeah, here's my cabbage and fried tofu and jalapeno and onion in a brown sauce over rice. That's pretty much a staple. And leftover Japanese dressing. Brian made a batch of Japanese dressing, that kind of dressing you get over the iceberg salad that they serve you when they sit down, that is orange, ginger based, has some ketchup in it. Love a chicken biscuit from Bojangles. They have good breakfast biscuits in general, I would say. And if you haven't been to Bojangles, it's pretty North Carolina centric. I remember before I lived here, I went to Bojangles once, and it was pre-pandemic, sat down inside and had really good fried chicken, and they clean up after you, which I was shocked at. They have like someone on the floor cleaning up all the tables. It feels like a semi-active restaurant, semi-active quick counter service. But ever since I moved here, I mean, I go through the drive-through only now, but I don't know if I was just enamored with being on vacation and it made the chicken taste better, if it was a fluke, or if the quality's gone down. But in general, I don't think that at least the Bojangles around me are making quality chicken products. I'm not going to Bojangles to get chicken. I'm going to Popeyes and getting their chicken sandwich. I'm going to Bojangles for their breakfast biscuits, though. They have a great sausage, egg, and cheese, bacon, egg, and cheese. And they have these bow rounds for breakfast. They are, sometimes they're not perfectly crispy, but when they're perfectly crispy, it's like mini McDonald's hash browns. McDonald's hash brown coins. I think they have a smiley face in them. Highly recommended. Okay, let me just go ahead and do like 2 weeks because I'm on a roll. January 10, 2023. It's a Tuesday. Collectivo coffee with half and half, and toasted La Farm sourdough with 2 over easy eggs, made at home. 12:30 p.m. Mixed greens with leftover Japanese dressing and 2 beef hot dogs. 2 p.m. Dietsch's milk chocolate pretzels. 5 p.m. Lablabi with garlic sour cream, sardine oil, and lemon, made at home, and a bottle of Miller High Life. Yes, this was my Lablabi, the height of my Lablabi consumption. I found out about Lablabi from watching 90 Day Fiancé. If you haven't watched 90 Day Fiancé, you need to start now. It is... my sisters and I have a dedicated group chat to just talking about 90 Day Fiancé. It's called 90 Day Fiancé Support Group. I was staying in the hospital with my sister once when she was sick, and 90 Day Fiancé was just debuting, and there was a commercial for it, and we were like, let's watch this. And I think needing a distraction, needing something crazy to watch on TV when you're in the hospital and things are tense, I think something about that show, we were trauma bonded to the show, and we watch it to this day. And we recruited our other sister who was not there, and she is fully on board now. It's an incredible show. I mean, what was incredible about it is that they found people who were dating people abroad and needed a visa and bringing them to the US to live with them. And these people were sometimes scamming these Americans to come to the US, but sometimes not. But the best part of it was they ended up with someone who lived in like Sandusky, Ohio, and they were miserable. And they were like, I thought America was different than this. And they always end up in one of the worst places in America possible. And they're miserable and they're confused. So that's fun to watch. So there was this woman named Rebecca, and she was a fried chicken fast casual restaurant manager. I don't remember where she lived, but she fell in love, and she was probably in her mid 40s. She fell in love with a young man from Tunisia. I think his name was Zayed or something. He started with a Z. And he was maybe 20. He was very young. He was a boy. It was a mother-son dynamic that they had going on. And they would make merchandise with each other's faces on it. She would drink out of a coffee cup with his face on it. He would wear t-shirts with her face on it. And she brought him to the US, and while she worked, 70 hours a week at the fried chicken shop, and he sat at her house and played video games and drank out of her mug with his face on it. And part of the reason why these people, when they come over to marry an American, part of their misery is that they can't work right away and they can't drive, so they're stuck in a house in the middle of nowhere in small town America. So that's basically what was going on. I think they might still be together. Anyway, that's how I found out about Lablabi. I think he was talking. Oh, she went to go visit him in Tunisia, and they ate Lablabi, and it looked amazing. So my sisters and I love to make Lablabi. It's chickpeas. It's like a harissa-based brothy chickpeas, and then you can just add whatever you want in it. So it's like a big bean soup, and it's rich, and you can add hard-boiled eggs or chicken or tuna or fish, lemon, herbs, whatever. It's just like a vessel for toppings, and it's rich and spiced, and it's great. A great winter food. I actually don't know why I'm not making it. I need to start that up again. I think actually there was like a chickpea shortage at one point, but I think I can work around that, and that is ended. Okay. January 11th. Oh, wait, I gotta say, there's nothing like a Miller High Life. It's so refreshing. It is the best cheap beer. It is so dry. January 11th, 2023, it was a Wednesday, 9 a.m. Collectivo coffee with half and half, an easy egg over toasted La Farm sourdough with olive oil, leftover garlic sour cream, and mixed greens with Japanese salad dressing made at home. 1 p.m., half a mango and Dietz's milk chocolate pretzels. 6 p.m., ricotta, sun gold tomato sauce, and spinach pizza made at home, and a bottle of Miller High Life. I was making a lot of pizza around this time, the first year here. I really perfected like a Detroit-style pizza recipe. I was using my own sourdough starter, getting it really bubbly, and figuring out how to use an electric oven at the highest heat to really make that crust rise really quickly, but also like get those dark bubbles. It was a huge learning curve, but I figured it out, and made the best pizza possible within a home electric oven that goes up to 500. Sun gold tomato sauce, I think that was leftover and frozen from the summer when we were growing a lot of sun golds, and sun golds make a really sweet and good tomato sauce, I will say. Leftover garlic sour cream, that was one of the toppings for Lablabi. You can't beat it. I can't believe I just skipped over the fact that I ate 2 beef hot dogs the day before. I don't know what was going on there. We never have hot dogs around, so this might have I have no idea. There was a day where we needed to do a burn in the field, so we went out there and roasted hot dogs and marshmallows over the burn, over the fire, and I think Brian ate a whole pack of hot dogs, but maybe we had a couple left over and we ate them. January 12th, 2023 was a Thursday. 9 a.m. Ruby coffee with half and half and an over easy egg on toasted La Farm sourdough made by Brian. 12 p.m. Leftover Lablabi with sour cream and croutons made from leftover pizza. 5:30 p.m. Kielbasa with sauerkraut and mustard and panzanella with mixed greens and leftover pizza croutons made at home and a can of Birdsong jalapeno pale ale. I remember on a road trip to Colorado, going to Estes, Colorado, actually to stay in the house of the same friends who have the house in Hot Springs. We had to stay in Omaha overnight, and we went to go sit down at the spaghetti factory, and one of the people who we were with freaked out and said, "I'm not eating here. This is crazy," and walked out. So we all got up from the table and left. Ended up going to, I think it was called the Library Bar. It was like a library themed bar, and sitting outside. It was a beautiful summer day. And we ate like a basket of fries and Kincaidor jalapeno beers. And they were delicious. My favorite jalapeno beer I've ever had. Kincaidor Brewing in Nebraska. Or... yeah, Omaha's in Nebraska, right? I always confuse them. Wonderful. Just tasted like the crisp smell of fresh jalapenos. Not too spicy, just like a really subtle burn. Anyway, I've been searching for that high ever since. Kincaidor doesn't distribute outside of that area, so when I can find a jalapeno beer, I will grab it. Birdsong Jalapeno Pale Ale is not as good. But I actually did find one recently, and I can't remember what it was. It's in my food log somewhere, probably from earlier 2024. That was like a really good substitute, but it's hard to find them. It was in Connecticut. It was over Christmas in Connecticut. Went to a bottle shop, and they had a really good jalapeno beer. I'll have to find it later. Whenever I eat kielbasa, I think of my mom. There's a big Polish community in Connecticut, so we would eat a lot of kielbasa growing up. And then I love that I made croutons from leftover pizza. That must have been a pizza that wasn't great, so I turned it into croutons. Sometimes I would make them a little too thick, and they were a little too bread heavy. So, and yeah, leftover Lablabi, it's the gift that keeps on giving. You heat it up, it tastes even better. And you just like throw whatever you have in your fridge on it. January. Oh, and I also switched to Ruby coffee. Went back to Ruby coffee. That was when it was still affordable in January 2023. I mean, they don't charge tax or shipping, so anyway. January 13, 2023, it was a Friday. 9 a.m. Ruby coffee with half and half and leftover Lablabi with garlic sour cream and toasted La Farm sourdough made at home. 1 p.m. A hot dog with ketchup and Sunchips. 6 p.m. Steak tacos with slaw, cilantro, onion, lime, Dietsch hot sauce, and refried black beans made by Brian and Dietz's dark chocolate pretzels. Yeah, I got this Dietsch hot sauce for Christmas. It's a pepper. It's from Florida, so I think it's from St. Augustine, Florida. It was pretty good. It feels like something my mom got on QVC. Love Sunchips. I wish I had specified what flavor. And it looks like I still have hot dogs in my fridge. That is a mystery. I have no idea. Anyway, January 14th, 2023, it was a Saturday. 9 a.m. Ruby coffee with half and half, refried black beans, scrambled eggs with cheese, cilantro, and hot sauce on tortillas made at home. 1 p.m. Palmer's chocolate. 3 p.m. mozzarella sticks, fries, and part of a gyro from American Hero. 6 p.m. Adietz's dark chocolate pretzel. Okay, so what I meant to say when we were having tacos the previous night, I love a taco with cabbage slaw on it. There's this one place in Chicago, Milagro Tortilla Factory. They made tortillas, but they also had a restaurant, and they would always put cabbage in their tacos. And Brian was obsessed with that. So whenever he makes tacos, he likes to put cabbage in it. I know it's not a novel concept. I mean, fish tacos have usually a red cabbage slaw on them, but and Taco Bell does that with their chicken cantina menu. They all have cabbage in them, which are great, by the way. Their chicken cantina menu is rockin'. Although I stopped going to Taco Bell. I finally downloaded the app. My sister's convinced me because you can get perks on there. Finally downloaded it. And when you like order something and pick it up, they make you pull over and wait for like 20 minutes. It's not worth it. It's faster to just go through the drive-thru. And I don't know why. And on top of that, my location, I don't know if this is everywhere, but my location in particular, I think, stopped doing soft taco. The spicy potato soft tacos. They stopped doing spicy potatoes in general. So I don't really want to eat the beef at Taco Bell. I'll eat the chicken, I guess, but something about the beef, I try and avoid it. I love, since childhood, going to Taco Bell with my dad. The bean burrito is what we get. The bean burrito is where it's at. And whenever I try and order it at a drive-thru, people are like, what? Because no one's ever ordered it before. And they're not sure what I'm saying. But bean burrito, and then I like to get the spicy potato taco, and they stopped making it. So it's like, I'm just not going there anymore. Okay, well, Taco Bell, get your act together and bring back spicy potatoes to all of your locations. I'm going to end this, on January 14th. It was 2 weeks worth of content. Thanks for visiting the archives with me and hearing what I ate. Bye.